gonna be honest with you, science is boring, but not here.
My guest today is Danielle Coe. Danielle is the founder and owner of Black Women in Clinical Research. I would like to thank you for joining today. I've been following you, and I've been impressed with some of the work that you've been doing. I've been really excited about this interview. We got to speak a little bit before it, had a lot of laughs, so I know this is going to be good. So if you could just start out just telling everyone, what's your background? How did you stumble across the clinical research industry? I know, for myself, it was literally stumbling into the industry. So, just give everyone, a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Adam, for having me. I am so excited to share more information about myself and Black women in clinical research. So I graduated from Clark Atlanta University, go Panthers, and I first learned about clinical research from a classmate that I ran into. I had no idea what clinical research was. I had never heard about it. So from there, I went on clinicaltrials.gov. And I just found a research clinic that was close to me. And I called them. I said, hey, can I do an internship, or can I shadow so that I could learn more about clinical research? So I did an internship for about 6 months. And from that position, I was able to secure a position as a clinical research coordinator in breast oncology. So from there, I felt like this was divine intervention. Like, this was my calling. And because my grandmother had breast cancer. So with my career in clinical research, I definitely noticed that Black women were underrepresented in the clinical research industry. So a lot of times I would go to a meeting and I would be the only Black woman that was there, or there would only be a few of us. So from there, I created Black Women in Clinical Research. And so Black Women in Clinical Research mission is to educate, empower, support, and help Black women thrive in the clinical research industry.
Wow. I think your story is literally exactly like mine. Because, I mean, not the, creating, but like I literally stumbled into the industry. I've told people before, but, like for my experience, I was sitting on the couch. I just finished school, sit on my mom's couch. I was working at doggy daycare, and I'm just like, this can't be it.
Right. Can't be life.
So I got on Indeed. I remember the day I got on Indeed, and I'm just hitting submit. I don't care who responds, as long as it's not a doggy daycare. And from there, I got, like I said, I got a phone call, and I was able to secure a position in clinical research, and it was a 6-month contract, just like yours. So I had to prove myself, but that that is, I love it. I really love it. So tell me a little bit about what you do in your I guess in your current roles, or whatever you're doing in the field.
So currently I'm a clinical trial coordinator for Cognizant. So I help the clients with their devices for their clinical trials, and I do consent verification. So this is just the new role for me, going from more like breast regulatory to actually dealing with the patients.
Wow, really? So what is it? Do you enjoy dealing with patients? Is that something that you like?
So my first job was working in the hospital when I was 16 years old. So I've always had a love for.
I said you're seasoned.
Right. So when I was 16 years old, I got a job at Providence Hospital here in Michigan, and I was a unit clerk assistant. So that kind of prepared, I felt like that was kind of the foundation that like laid my love for science, my love for people and helping people. So from there, I was so interested in working in the hospital. I asked them if they could create a position for me so that I could work in the family care, like the postpartum area, because I wanted to be a doctor back then.
Wow, it's funny that you say that. I had some experience working at a site, and just from experience and interacting with patients a lot. I think you naturally just like you get comfortable with just interacting with people. It just does something to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I mean, before I was, you know, shy. I didn't, you know, really talk to that many people. But after a while, you know, just interacting with patients, getting to just know people, it really does like leave a lasting, I guess, effect on you to a certain extent.
Definitely.
But that, I mean, that's amazing. I love that. So what, in terms of your company, you mentioned your company. What, just specifically, like what are some of the things that, you know, your company is doing to push the industry forward right now, or, you know, what are your plans, you know, to push the industry forward, like as a whole?
So our plans are to reach out to HBCUs and other institutions. We really feel like in order to make the biggest impact and to increase the diversity in the clinical trial workforce, that is where we kind of need to go, like hit the ground running. Because I think about when I was in college, I didn't know about clinical research. There was no class, there was nothing, no career day, there weren't any CROs at the campus. So I really want to change that. I really want to let people know about clinical research. So whether it's a class or whether it's the career day or just having an internship, scholarships, just to let them know about clinical research and the great opportunities that they have. So we also want to develop nonprofit organization partnerships with nonprofit organizations, because we're thinking about the Girl Scouts Club and Black Girls Rock and different programs that kind of offer, I guess, empowering young Black women. Because when I think about it, that is when I really got a love for science, when I was in middle school, when I was in high school. And I feel like that's such an important age to reach out to young women, young women, young men, and just let them know that the science is definitely, if you want this career, the flexibility, you know, just helping people. Like, I'm just, you know, so passionate about helping people.
You make a really great point, because I know, like I said, from my experience, you know, first of all, I didn't know the industry existed up until they gave me the job. You know? So it's like, we have to change that. You know, we have to, you know, so, you know, my love for science started when I was in high school as well. I got to job shadow, you know, I got to, you know, experience what it was like, you know, I had the opportunity to go to, you know, job shadow some scientists and stuff at different companies, all that stuff. But had I not had that experience, I wouldn't have had that love. But I think it's all about experiencing stuff, you know, because we come from places where it's like, it's a limited number of experiences that you can have, really, you know, to be honest with you. And I think, exposing communities to what we do,
Definitely.
It could be, because there's so much power in like letting a kid or a high school kid seeing something.
Definitely.
And that could change so much for them. You know what I mean? I really think that we have to, I guess that's why we're here, huh?
Right.
To really bring some more folks into the industry.
Definitely. Because my group, we're nearly at 1,000 members.
Really?
So
what?
We are hitting the ground running. We want to be heard. We want the high level positions.
Man, we need to link up, man.
Definitely.
Wow, that's
definitely. Yes, I want to increase and maximize the earning potential of Black women. And so this is what my group does. We have wind down Wednesdays, and you know.
Are they from like are they from like different, they're all in clinical research?
All in clinical research, all over the world. We have people from Brazil. We have people from Germany. We have people from all over. Black women in clinical research is going international.
Man, what?
Yes. So, you know, a lot of times we think that the problem that we're facing with not having, you know, enough diversity in the clinical trial patient population is just in the US, but this is a problem that's worldwide.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I know. See, I found, I knew it existed, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I started, I became an analyst, and then I had to help create the strategies for different trials. And as an analyst, you're the numbers guy on the team. So, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking like, I'm looking at, previous trials, and I'm like, wow, like, there's only, like 2 Black people on this trial, or,
Right.
1 Hispanic. Like, this can't be right. And me being a science person, being a biologist, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You
Right.
can't test something and not everybody's represented in the trial.
Right.
So it really is a problem. And then when you look at the workforce, it's like, from a diversity standpoint, most of the time I was the only, person of color in the room.
Definitely.
Or I'm not gonna say I was always the only person of color, but usually that was the case. And of course, I know it'll take some time for us to get to the point where that's not the case, but we definitely need to start having companies like ours, being able to continue to push the industry forward. I think I'm really impressed. I'm really, really impressed. I can't believe I didn't know that. I did not know that.
We are almost 1,000 strong. I'm at the point where I'm about to get a DJ and have like a party when we reach 1,000.
Let me just go ahead and close ClinArk up and join the team, man.
Or I'm just gonna start a Black men in clinical research, and
we gotta figure this out, man.
Definitely.
Man, I did not know that. You actually shocked me during the mid-interview. I'm shocked now. Wow. I have people everywhere.
You said what?
I was just shocked. Wow. So I mean, are they? So do they all have? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do they all do similar roles? Is it like all CRAs, or are they just?
We have doctors. We have people who are VPs. We have program managers. We have people who have their a medical liaison. Like, we have different people with different backgrounds pretty much in the group. We have people in the group that don't have any clinical research experience. So we just have a wide variety of different people in the group.
So if I came across a situation where it's like, I want to hire some people and I want to bring more women into my company, I can reach out to you and
Definitely. We have women that are qualified, that have the education, that are ready, waiting for that opportunity to, get into clinical research.
They're about to witness a business deal on ClinArk Talks.
Right. Right.
Man, I didn't know that.
I'm so certain that these women will be so excited to have the opportunity.
You got me excited now. You got me thinking of stuff now. Oh man, I didn't know that. Okay. All right. We're gonna have to, yeah, okay. Wow. Doctors. Okay.
Yep.
So what, we probably already covered this, but what, like, out of everything that that you do, like, to your core, what like really pushes you and drives you? Like, for me, I remember the last words that my great grandfather told me, and I came in. It was because of the job that I got in the clinical research industry, making $40,000. I was so excited. I was making like, I think I was making like $7.40 at the doggy daycare, and I got this $40,000 job, and I went to tell my great grandfather. He was dying from cancer, but it was good news, and I wanted to tell him. And I drove over to my great grandparents' house, and I just like told him, and he saw the excitement in my face. But the last words that he said to me were, he said, I know you're excited. He said, but always follow your passion, do not follow the money. And that, in my mind, that till this day, like, that's all I think about. And for me, it's like, I don't drift outside. Like, I follow what I want to do. And it hasn't steered me in the wrong direction yet. So what fuels you? What makes you like want to keep going, keep doing what what you're doing?
I am so passionate about helping Black women.
Mhm.
I just remembered how I struggled when I was trying to enter in the clinical research industry. And I've just made it my mission that I don't want any Black woman out there to feel alone when they're trying to enter in this industry. And just the support that we have received, I feel like this is a support that I've always wanted in my career, to have Black women in a safe space where we're motivating each other, where we're empowering each other, where we're making sure that we are getting the best jobs possible for our education and for the years that we have been in clinical research. So just seeing other Black women reach these levels, it is just amazing. And it's a humbling feeling to know that you have helped someone change their life. And that's what that's my passion. Helping Black women is just, I don't know, I just
No, I mean, that's, that honestly, like, it's hard to explain your passion,
right.
it really is. And sometimes people look at you like, this person crazy.
Yeah, it keeps you up in the middle of the night. I'm in the middle of the night, like checking my group, making sure my group is, making sure my members are okay, making sure, if any questions are asked, that I've answered the questions. Like I just, I'll wake up like 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, what's Black women in clinical research doing?
It will hit you at 3 a.m. and you gotta get up.
Definitely.
Write it down or work on it, whatever it is.
Right.
That's just how it is. That's
definitely.
When you find something that you like doing.
Yeah.
Then you'll understand what we're talking about.
Right. I have random notes everywhere in my house of things that I think about, and I'm like, "Oh, I have to write this down before I forget."
A bunch of scattered
Yes,
notes.
it's everywhere. I'm looking at Post-its right now.
No, I get it. So I'll find myself watching TV with my family and mid Frozen, whatever we're watching. I'll get a thought and I'll just walk out the room and go to work, and I don't even realize that my whole family's looking at me like, where you going?
Definitely.
I get up and start working. It really, it's something else, man. When you find something that you enjoy doing, it's a good feeling though.
Like you tapped into it. Like
Yeah.
this is just, like you're reaching the highest level, and that's definitely how I feel. And that this is only the beginning. And these partnerships, these conversations, that I'm having with different people, it's just extremely motivating. I just, I want to partner with everyone.
Hey, I tried that out when I first started, and that don't always work. But the feeling, you want to partner with everybody, but you learn stuff along the way. You're like, I probably shouldn't.
Okay, maybe not you.
But I understand that feeling, and I wish that in our industry, people, if we all realize that, I think dealing with COVID would be a lot easier, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
Because it is an all hands on deck situation, and it is going to require everyone to literally, all these companies to literally join hands and say, let's do this together. Hey, you guys are good at that. Let's do this. But we're not doing that. People are just, working in their little, corners and not really. I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of companies are doing that. And I think we have to get out of that mentality in order to really deal with, like I said, this COVID situation. But no, that's really great that that's what fuels you. I think I hope that what we do, what you do, I hope it really people see this interview, people like us see this interview and they're just like, man, let me try it out. I get messages from, and it's a great feeling. Like, that's why I do it. I'll get messages from people. Had an individual today message me. He's a Black man. He said, I saw your interview. It really made me, want to keep going, motivate me to keep going in the industry. And that's what I live for. It's like, it's not even about the money.
Right.
Any of that. It's like those messages, like, people don't even realize those messages, that's literally like a paycheck.
Definitely.
It's like, man, that's
Definitely.
why I do it. I completely understand. So I got to ask you this question. Where do you see the, clinical research 10 to 15 years from now? Like, and it could be anything. It could be, I see more, people of color or whatever. Where do you see the industry going? For me, I think that we're going to see more, like I said, more people of color in leadership positions. What about you?
So that's a really good question. So I see like decentralized clinical trials being the norm. So bringing clinical trials to people's home. So I read something that said that a lot of people don't participate in clinical trials because they're too far away from the clinical trial site. So if we bring it to people in their homes, and they can feel more comfortable, and this won't be something where it's out of their routine to go to a clinical trial site in order to receive treatment. And so also what I would like to see, like you said, increase in diversity in the clinical trial workforce. I really believe that the clinical trial workforce is directly connected to the patient population. And so if we have people in these positions that look like us, that we can relate to, I feel like that should definitely increase some of the patients who are participating in the clinical trials. And so I also, with the fear and the stigma of participating in clinical trials, I see us having more patient advocacy forums where we're explaining clinical trials, where we're talking about the consenting process, because a lot of people are not aware of what it means to consent to a trial. So some people, like, especially when I talk to my family, they feel like if I consent to this trial, I can't get out of it. And so I let them know, like, this is voluntary. If you decide at any time that you don't want to participate in the clinical trial, you can say, hey, I'm no longer interested. So these are some of the conversations that I think that will help other people to participate in clinical trials. And we also have to have that tough conversation about the Tuskegee syphilis study. And like every time I mention clinical research to my family, that's the first thing they bring up. They say, I don't want to be a guinea pig. And, and so I think when we can earn people's trust and we can let them know that things have changed and this is no longer, talk about the past, but be able to proceed with the future and let them know these are the changes that have occurred since that time. So I feel like if we can do this together with the community, if we can increase the clinical trial workforce, we're definitely on the right path.
Absolutely. You make a really good point. That's actually one of the, so although our companies are different, we're still trying to tackle the same thing. I think it's very important that we get more minorities into clinical research because it's going to make those interactions with the patients, more. They're going to feel a lot better about joining the clinical trial.
Definitely.
Because the conversations that you are having with your family members literally are the same conversations that I have. And it goes the same way.
Definitely.
Like when I'm talking to my grandma, whoever, it's like, no way.
Absolutely not.
Tuskegee, and I think Tuskegee really is like that's the one, that's the one that people, it leaves a sour taste because, from 1932 to, was it 1972, I think, that was a trial that was supposed to last 6 months.
Right.
600 African-American males were infected with syphilis and they didn't know, even after a treatment was created. So it's like, that's a long time.
Definitely.
For somebody, that's a long trial. That's longer than that's longer than any trial I've ever seen, across all phases.
Definitely.
So, it's like, it's sad, and you have to address. I think one of the things that we have to do is like, we have to address that first.
Definitely.
Like, don't even start talking about the trial until you talk about that first. You talk about that first, say, hey, let's get over this real quick.
Definitely.
Then, you unload everything else on them. But that is the conversation that I have with almost everyone. That's spot on. Wow. 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 Man. So I, I guess my next question, I have one more for you. I didn't, I wanted to shake you up.
Uh-oh.
It's not too bad. So do you think, how do you feel about the whole COVID vaccine? God, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I know you weren't ready for
you
that.
say it's not gonna. I just.
I'm just gonna leave it in the air like that. Just how do you feel about the COVID vaccine?
I just feel like we're moving kind of fast, and it's like we need to kind of slow down. And with the COVID trials and trying to get people to participate in these COVID trials, and the fact that I've seen like letters to the HBCUs telling the students to participate, I'm conflicted. I'm really conflicted because I know that the people, and I know that Black people and minorities need to be represented in the clinical trials for COVID.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just seems like there might need to be a better process or how we go about conducting these COVID-19 trials. So
your response is literally along the lines of how I was thinking too. When I heard about the HBCU thing, I was like, that's the wrong way to do it.
Definitely, like don't do
mainly in my mind, mainly because I know I come from a Black family, so that just looks bad. Like it's like, oh, so you're gonna go to the HBCU? It's like that's not gonna sit well with people. You have to be really, really gentle with how you approach the situation, and that's not gentle. That's like, it feels like you're hurting people, like let's hurt them let's get to, this is going to be the easiest way to do it, and you can't really approach it like that. You have to make sure, like I always say, you have to involve empathy. Like it takes empathy. It takes those one-on-one conversations. You're not going to be able to get there's no way you're going to build trust by going through these different avenues and trying, like, you have to have these conversations with people. It's that simple.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation today. Sorry about that curveball, but I had to. I had to. I'm gonna give her these. I'm gonna let her know. Give her an idea. I'm gonna hit her with a curveball at the end. But you did really well. I appreciate you. Joining the show. I hope everyone enjoys it. I know you have a lot of stuff to do. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Adam. I really appreciated our conversation, and it was just an honor to talk to you, and realizing that you have someone that shares the same exact, feelings about, different things, and that even though we're working in different areas of clinical research, we're still very connected in the work that we're trying to do for the community and for other minorities. So I just want to thank you again.